Hello, are you guys able to hear me now? Okay, fantastic, that's great. Okay, I wasn't expecting a lot of people to be here today anyway, so let's get things rolling since we are running a bit late already. So, currently there's no big agenda for this. I just want to bring about and discuss something that is a bit of a concern for the future, I would say. So if you guys would look at the screen, this is a investigation that we did, or rather I did earlier on, to see the kind of like the amount of space that is needed or necessary on the server in the long term. So if you guys want to speak, just feel free to, request to speak and then join in the conversation. But essentially, Gadelia currently takes about 27 gigabytes of memory, and we only have about Gadelia currently takes about 16 gigabytes of storage, and we currently only have about we only have 218 gigs of storage. So this leaves us with about 79 gigs of storage in use for us to play around with right now. So currently our main plan is to, if you ever want to upgrade to a new server, or rather upgrade the Minecraft version, we would have to provision for a minimal test server to ensure that everything is working properly before we bump up the version. And currently that leaves us with a total available space of it basically allows us to do it currently. However, in this scenario where if you were to upgrade it to 1.2, 1.1, and if we were to, as originally planned, bump up the radius of Calidia to 60 to about 20 kilometers instead of 15 kilometers, we will then run into the issue where it will take up about 67 to like 70 gigabytes of space. And this is a significant toll on our resources currently. So if you were to expand it to 18 kilometers, it'll be 54.92 gigabytes. And if you were to stay the same radius, we will be at 38.5. So I think in general, when Minecraft updates come along, for some reason, the world size also increases. So in our original calculations, when we first went about choosing this server, it turns out that 1.21 wasn't really that out yet. So therefore, we couldn't really like estimate approximately how much space there would be if we were to upgrade the size, or if we were to upgrade the server in the end. So I'm not sure how, if looking at the like whether if retiring Guidelia will make a very big difference. Only is gigs is not really that big of a difference to make up for the difference between the Calidia and the Calidia before and after expansion. And so the main we were to continue and expand Calidia as expected originally, we would not have enough space for a minimal test server in the future. Probably won't have enough space to figure out how to go about testing for the new server itself. So that is the main challenge I think that we have to address going forward. And also this current lack of space is not accounting for the additional amount of space that the Dynmap will need to render an expanded Calidia, just to take into consideration as well. So yes, I don't think I have a very solid plan or a very big idea on what we can do for this from here on out. So if anyone has any ideas, feel free to raise it up. But essentially, I don't think retiring a lot of these votes will give us a very big really fix the issue in the long run as well. So moving forward, that is the main challenge that I posed to you guys. Moving forward, I think there is also not a lot of topics for this town hall. So one, it is about the, hang on, let me have a look. See, Daisy. This is September, right? Yeah. Okay, other potential quick fire topics that you want to talk about here are the MyWAP implementation, server promotion, wiki timeline for resumption, debrief of building blast feedback suggestions, etc. Uh, new spawn launch, updated timeline. Okay, so I think the MyWAP, for the first topic, I think the MyWAP issue, I think we can go about doing a, what do you call it? I will probably be onboarding Matthew to help with the implementation of the MyWalk plugin. Then for server promotion wise, I think in the previous town hall people mentioned that, oh, it would be great if others could help, but I think everyone is very busy and we don't have a lot of like time to go about doing it. But we'll see how we can go about or figure out a plan for this actually. For the wiki timeline for resumption, I think we have been working on it for quite a while, but we are running into some issues with the wiki. For instance, normally when we deploy the wiki, it will be in HTTP, but like because it has to be secure, so we are trying to get a SSL so that it can all of the access of the wiki can be done through HTTPS, but we are running into some issues with that currently. So that is the major blocker for that at the moment. And if I can figure out how to go about fixing that, then I will definitely resume the wiki for now. But I think as of now, given the amount of time that we have, probably we can try for December, I guess. Yeah. For the building blast, I think it was quite successful, but I think Mind Builder is currently busy. So if anybody would like to take up the role to help organize the building blast, that would be great as well. Maybe if you want to fix a date for the next one, it'll probably have to be next month already, October or November. We'll see how things go. And then for the new spawn launch, I think we have officially kind of like, I think we have soft launched the spawn already. So if things go well and once we build out the areas that are meant to like connect to the spawn in the city area, we can do the official launch for the spawn itself. And the updated timeline for Vision 2023 for WolvHaven's retirement. Most likely we will have to do the WolvHaven retirement when we upgrade the server to the new version, and so that this will generally allow us to test if it breaks anything on a provisional test server currently. Yeah. Then I think that is all. Soda asked the question about what happened to this shop and headquarters upon Gardelia retirement. So if Gardelia is to be retired and you have like things inside Gardelia, there will definitely be a very long time frame or window of time where we allow people to start moving things over. I would say we will give at least 6 months for people to shift everything over to Gardelia. However, it seems now that maybe retiring Gardelia is not that big of wouldn't really have that many benefits as previously thought in terms of saving space. Like I mean, it will definitely make a big saving in space, but I don't think it will be of any benefit to us in this current stage, unfortunately. So yeah, I think that is generally it. If anyone has anything they would like to ask or talk about, go ahead and say. Okay, so Exton asks, for the wiki, is it due to technical issue or SSL expiration? I think it is both actually, both. Because they're trying to I can give you more details later on at the after the town hall, but essentially you're trying to containerize it, but I think there's some issues with that as well. Lucas said mine builder said he will be busy until now late September, early October. Oh, okay, that's great. Then maybe we could sync up with him to determine the next building blast. But so far I think the building blast has been quite great in like gathering the entire community to like contribute to think something together and build in everyone's company. So I think really have to thank him for helping to take charge and lead the effort for that. Then Matthew said Baymax couldn't be here, but he asked me to voice his opposition to retiring Gardelia. Yes, so currently I don't think there will be a retirement of Gardelia, but if we were to not retire Gardelia and we cannot figure out the space issue, then I think the expansion to Khalidia will not be able to progress, unfortunately. Is the reason why newer versions of Minecraft will sizes because of the height limits. Yes, so when the new height limit came into play, especially when you upgraded from the previous version to the current version, it would have essentially meant that the world sizes are being increased by a certain percentage, I would say, in order to fit in the storage required for the new world height limits. But in general, I think that even without the new world height limit, all along, whenever we upgrade to a new version of Minecraft, it would generally bump up the amount of space required by the world currently, actually. So the main unfortunate bummer is that if we are to bring it, I don't think there's a new world high limit for 1.21 if I'm not wrong. The current version is the limit, right? Let me have a look. Yeah, the current height limit is 319. There's no increase in the world height limit. It's just that I think in general with the added content to the game as well, it also some of the content gets stored inside the world save files, which also means that the amount of storage space also increases sadly. Sure, Matthew.
Hello, everyone. Good to see everyone again.
Yes, what's up?
Just an additional point, I guess. If the big if, I guess, if we expand Khalidia, there's still the issue of world generation differing between.
Do you want to speak, Matthew? Because I can't hear you.
Oh, hold on. Sorry.
Unfortunately, I can't really hear you, Matthew. Oh, yeah. So that's in general the whole issue with this. So I think if there is really no other solution to this, we may have to migrate to a new server again. But we will have to start running the little. We will start having to hunt for this new server in the end.
Okay, does this work? Does this work any better? No. Test. One, two. Test. Test. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Or not?
Anyone that has anything to
1, 2,
bring up,
3.
talk about. If not, then I guess we could kind of like quickly end it and keep it short and simple. So, all right, sure, just type. That'll be better. Regarding the big if of Kalidia expansion, wasn't the previous issue highlighted? Yeah, so I think the main goal with Kalidia's expansion is to allow some of the new world generation to take place, so that people will have the option or choice to build in these newly generated areas of the world. However, unfortunately, given the current situation, if we were to proceed with it, it may end up being difficult for us to maintain the operations on this server for a longer period of time. Also, you need to bear in mind that when we migrate from one server to the other, we do need to ensure that there is enough space available for us to how would you say it, package everything and take it over to the other side. So in general, we try to keep the amount of space that we are using on the server to about 60% maximum, ideally. I think if you were to use the same old generation, if you were to expand Kalidia, then that would negate the whole point of expanding Kalidia to begin with. So I think like the main complaint or the main push factor that people were asking for expansion in Kalidia is not really because it was getting too crowded, but rather because it was starting to be rather because the newer versions of Minecraft provided a brand new world generation, which was apparently a lot nicer than the current world generation. So therefore, some people wanted to have the option to move or start new claims inside the area with newer world generation. I think after a while now, then yeah, crowding is starting to become the main complaint. But regarding the old and new generation clashing, it wouldn't clash actually, because when they released the update, if you were to render or if you were to generate new chunks using the new generation, it would take into account the old generation and ensure that it blends in smoothly so that it doesn't really create any rough edges and things like it. It's not like the old days of Minecraft where like alpha to the alpha generation was changed and then suddenly there's a huge like great wall of terrain or something like it. It's no longer the case for this. It's just that the edges of the whole of Caledia will probably have nicer terrain. Then the middle will be have the old traditional terrain. Wouldn't really break oceans, I would say. I would say that it will just continue whatever is there. It, or there is a possibility where the ocean becomes a massive lake itself. Who knows? Also, ideally, if we somehow manage to merge Caledia and Gardelia, we would be able to focus all of the activity into one world instead, and we would be able to better concentrate our efforts into proper maintenance of like a singular world instead of another, instead of like doing it for both instead, if you get what I mean. But I do get people have sentimental attachments to Gardelia, so not really very I'm not really pushing too hard for it also. Encouraging people to claiming into Gardelia would just split up the whole what do you call it? It will essentially make it so that the entire community is kind of like split into two, like half of it is in Gardelia and the other half of it is in Caledia, which doesn't really give a sense of unity, I would say. I would say that Caledia itself isn't really that crowded at the moment. If you take away all of the inactive claims, for instance, there's actually quite a substantial amount of space that people can work around with. From my point of view at least. Doesn't speak that much. I guess it is more of the case where like people start to feel like they are all alone in like one world. Then there's not a lot of like opportunities for collaboration between other claims as well. Hang on. Matthew, are you able to speak a bit? See if I can hear you right now.
Hello.
Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, I can hear you now.
Wonderful.
Sorry.
That's fine.
Alright.
Hello, everyone.
Every inactive Gardelia team only cramp state. Yeah, and also I think I also think that how would you say it? The need to maintain like the Gardelian infrastructure is also quite. Yeah, we will have to split the effort between like two worlds, and then switching between the worlds isn't always the most fun or easy thing to do. It gets a bit troublesome after all, in my view, at least.
I mean, from a card sort of point of view, it doesn't really change that much in terms of management, I guess.
Yeah, but
just
I think
just
the
the
sense of
burden on the servers.
I think it's more like the sense of collaboration and like community. I would say, like personally to me at least, I would say that I would want to participate in a world where like things are a bit more happening and whatnot. But you know, I guess feel free to disagree on that point as well.
Mhm. Well, I guess yeah, the shift has naturally sort of occurred. There's only one player, I don't know if he's here, Orange, who recently claimed in Gardelia, and I don't think there's been any new players claiming in Gardelia in a long time. apart from them.
Yeah, unfortunately, all of the activity is in Caledia now. So it's like we are holding up quite a significant number of resources for that part of the world. But also, I think like the main issue of just expanding the world size is also how to say it. If the size of the amount of space that it takes just exponentially increases as you increase the radius of the world, sadly. Yeah, I understand that too. A lot of people moves, but although like some of the claims are like smaller and things like it, I think it is just the dynamic map markers that make it seem like oh things are overcrowded and whatnot.
I
In
guess
my opinion, I think that is why we started doing the whole cleanup of Caledia to begin with. So the new size will only be 5 kilometers larger than the current one. So essentially it's just gonna be 5 kilometers larger on like north, south, east, and west. But that's the issue because like that 5 kilometers itself is already exponentially increasing the amount of no, it's gonna be 25 by 25. The current size is 20 by 20. So if you were to go ahead with the expansion as originally planned, it would be like 25 by 25, and like the increase of the radius just by 5 kilometers is really exponentially increasing the amount of storage space that we need for Caledia.
what Luker says or means when he says too many people move is that we sort of marketed Calidia initially as a world for bigger claims, and Gardelia, if you wanted to start out small, I guess it's still on the website. That's sort of
Yeah,
where
I
we
guess
promote
so.
it.
I guess so.
So I guess that's what Luker means there.
Mm, yeah, unfortunately, I can't really control like or allocate like who goes where and what. So I guess it is a natural thing, but it also doesn't really feel very nice to tell everyone in Gardelia to like, hey guys, it's time to like just move on over to like Caledia. I know some people will be okay with it, but I'm not sure if like in general like everyone will be fine with it. Mainly I think the two main people that I know that still develop, or rather three main people that I know that still built on Gardelia are Wong and Baymax and Orange at the moment. But then again, if you come back to my little like investigation sheet here, you see that just by increasing the radius by 5 kilometers, you already kind of like triple the amount or like double or triple the amount of space that you need for Caledia itself. So even if we were to go ahead and retire Gardelia, I don't think it will make a huge dent in the amount of extra space needed for Caledia, sadly. I think like the 5 kilometers is already very ambitious. I think we were originally going for a more conservative 3 km expansion. So that'll be about like 55 gigabytes of space you needed instead.
I guess what Baymax was saying is that
So
he
yeah, so to answer let me answer Locker first. So to answer Locker, the current size is 15 kilometers of radius. So okay, I guess you could say it is 30 by 30 now. Then after that, after a while, it'll be 40 by 40. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. Yes, yes. Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah, sorry, Matthew.
I guess some of the opposition, or I mean, Baymax told me to pass this on since he can't show up, is that he doesn't. I guess he wouldn't be opposed to moving things, but he doesn't have the time. He says, and I guess, he puts a lot of he's put a lot of effort, and he has one of the biggest claims in Gardelia, which would be quite an effort to move. So maybe
Yeah, that's
facilitating like moves to Calidia if we replace Gardelia would help, like staff assistance.
I was wondering if we were to help people move things to Canada. I was wondering what if during this time frame we bump up the world edit limit so that I think at least moving it becomes a bit easier. But um yeah, I guess it will be temporary. Then after the end of it, maybe we will have a permanent bump in the world edit limit, but just not as large as the temporary arrangements, I would say.
And I guess the other point to make about if we expand Calidia and replace Gardelia is that while Gardelia is has a radius of what 10 kilometers, so 10 by 10, uh,
Mm-hmm.
not all of it is usable. So what I mean, because people are built on it already, so it's not claimable.
Alright.
So whatever we gain in, I can't do the math right now. I have no idea what it is. If we expand Calidia by 5 radius, someone could do the math on that gain. It would, I don't know what the number is, but we're not losing 10 by 10 in Gardelia because there is simply not 10 by 10 empty in Gardelia, whereas what we gain in
Yeah.
Calidia will be empty or free to claim.
I think it's also the idea, general idea that claims are supposed to be a bit more spread out in Calidia itself. So I think that's why people think that it is getting a bit too crowded as well. So I think maybe we may want to change the messaging on this instead of like saying, hey, you should spread out as much as possible. Rather, yes, still try to spread out, but also do it with the idea that eventually you would and you should collaborate with other people to maybe integrate areas together so it doesn't become too, so I guess things starts to be a bit more coherent around. And I think some people have done this very well, especially looking at the area around Newgate. And I
Uh,
think someone tried. I think some people have tried this, especially with the Barchester region, what the fuck? The Barchester region. I can't even pronounce Barchester. Is it Barchester or is it Barchester or
Barcester, I think.
Barchester? I guess yeah, Barchester region. Call it Basta.
I guess yeah, it's kind of like Worcester now, so Barster, I
How
guess.
do I pronounce? Oh, I pronounce it as Tate Port. Is it correct or is it Tart Port? Tate Port. Yeah, but eventually I think generally we will have to like push on some messaging that people should uh maybe strive towards integrating big areas together instead of like running on the notion that there should be like a massive amount of countryside among the claims and things like it.
I think Luca and uh, Lucas have done the math here. We add 700 square kilometers with a Calidia expansion, whereas
Mm-hmm.
Gardelia is 10 by 10, if I'm not wrong. So that's 100 square kilometers. We gain 600 square kilometers, if my math is not wrong there. Considering that
Mm-hmm.
the out of the current 100 square kilometers in Gardelia, let's say half is occupied, or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
50 square kilometers usable, and instead we basically gain 650 square kilometers.
Yeah. I think the only thing is that, unlike Gardelia, where it's like all of this is like a big square where people can like claim randomly and everything like it. I think it is essentially just going to be a brand new parameter of cities in that 5 kilometer border, if you get what I mean. So like just new claims dotted along the whole parameter of that 5 kilometers. But I also at the same time, I really do understand that people will try to. I think it would be good if you can try to keep the data as much as possible. But yeah, the other option is we can expand it by 3 kilometers in radius instead. But I'm not too sure how effective that would be. That was the original plan. I think the original plan was to expand it by 3 kilometers. So this is 50. 5K, right? So shall expanding it by this much only if you were to do 3 kilometers, which I think is not really that great. But if you were to expand it by 5 kilometers, then that would be expanding it by about this much in terms of the. Hmm. Yeah, that's why I was saying that. That's why I was projecting it with a 5 kilometer expansion rather than a 3 kilometer expansion. Ideally, in a very great situation, we could expand it by 10, but I think it's a bit difficult.
How much did the MRT expand by? They had two expansions, and I feel that
I think
in
maybe you could help look
I
at
think
that. I'm not too sure about the history.
it's because they I think they went from 30 to 30 initially, 30 by 30 initially, and then they expanded once, which added. Uh huh. Lucre,
Or
thanks.
that added about.
I mean, you
Oh,
could.
that's like almost double.
They there was an intermediary step between 30 and 60, but and it added quite a lot of space, like usable
Imperial
space.
said 18 to 30.
Uh, really? They had such a
30
small
minus
world.
18 is already it's actually quite a large amount actually. It's like it's an added 12 kilometers of radius.
But I guess it's exponential. So 5 kilometers
Yes,
is
correct.
a lot bigger than what we might
So
imagine right now.
yeah. So I think if we were to use the estimator here using the tricky trails update, this is about 10K, which is the size of Gardelia, which is I guess you could say slightly inflated for some reason. But I'm not sure why, but this is just a rough estimate. And I think ideally we wouldn't run into the. Oh yeah, yeah, it's quadratic. Sorry. Yes. But I think we will eventually run into some issues if you are not careful with the space. So let's say this is. Okay, wait. So this is 10. Effort is 0. So about 10 kilometers. That'll be 16.96. Yeah, which is about the same, which is correct. So if you were to bring it up to 20, 20 kilometers, it would be 67.83 gigs, which is the amount that we are projecting now currently. Then if you were to do a similar kind of expansion, to bring it, what was it? 18, 30 minus 8. That's like 12. What the? It's a 67% increase. So that's okay. Let's say you bump it up by 10 kilometers. It will take 100 gigs of storage space if you were to bump it up to 25 kilometers radius.
Do we have a do we have a breakdown, by the way, of the 72 gigabytes that is going into plugins?
Oh yes, mainly the big one is here. So core protect,
Oh,
Dynmap,
sorry.
and image frame. Yeah. So I guess if we really want expansion of the wall, unfortunately we can't really avoid having to maybe require a bit of financial investment in the overall infrastructure in the end, I would say. Or we could look for a better server if we could or we could try and look for another server hosting provider that would be a more economical but not compromise on the quality, I guess.
Are donations reopening?
Are there anyone?
Are donations reopening? I mean, sort of a linked question.
Donations, I'm trying to get it up by December, hopefully, but we'll see how things go because like just bumping just bumping the server specs itself would require uh maybe an increase in like the monthly payments by maybe $10-20. So that, and it is not like a simple like, oh, it's a 1 month thing. It's like sustained across 12 months. So that multiplies by 12, and therefore we would kind of like require some form of full out donation drive, I guess, if we really want to be confident that we would be able to finance this in the long term. Regarding airport regulations, I would say let everyone decide on the standards that they want to implement and go about figuring out whose standard your guys want to adopt. Plus, I think last time we tried to regulate this, and I think people didn't really like it. So yeah. Ideally, yeah, some planes should share airports. That would be better. At least it will be a shared effort among multiple people. WolvHaven's airport, Mechanicsburg Airport.
I think that comes naturally anyway. The sort of uh, number of airports in Kalidia.
I
Uh,
guess so. I mean, it is definitely a huge undertaking, so I would expect multiple claims to share one at least. Not every single claim building a random like 5,000 kilometer runway in the middle of nowhere or something like it.
I
Yeah.
mean, it is regulated by
Oh
card.
yeah, it is regulated by card, yes. The permission required to go, but I think he's talking about more of like the exact standards like gate sizes and like markings and things like it, which I think if we were to introduce official standards for that would be a bit overstepping it.
I guess people, if you build an airport, build it so that it fits the planes that fly in the server. I guess not that we have any
Yeah.
plane models that
But
for people to test it out on.
I mean there is the WolvHaven one currently, but like not sure if people want to expand the size from that old version. Yeah, Caludia was really safe. It was a 1-to-1. The whole airport runway would be like at least like more than half of it, I guess. Claim qualification system. The last time we dabbled with that, there was a lot of controversy.
The famous Gardelia claims hierarchy bill.
Ah, yeah, very infamous.
I guess the when we last sort of litigated this, it kind of got watered down more and more because people didn't want it to be restrictive, but wanted it to encourage creativity. It's a shame Mindbuilder's not here because he'd be able to, I guess, run us through that. But yeah,
Yeah, he'll be able to like have a very good set of opinions on that actually. Three kilometers is like, wait, oh my god, I can't keep math. Never mind. Okay, I guess it's not that long, but still a substantial amount of size. Like,
I mean everyone's building at a scale anyway. Like
Yeah,
the
that's
airport in
true.
Newgate is definitely not one to one scale, and it still looks very nice and looks
Yeah.
well scaled for
Let's
Minecraft.
see how long will an airport run be. The small regional airport will have running ranging from 1.5 km to 2.5 km. A major international airport may have runways that exceed 3,000 and 4,000 meters. Hmm. Microsoft Flight Simulator forums. Okay.
I mean, I don't really worry. Like, regulation, like, people here tend to build realistically. I mean, we don't have restrictive rules. Like, I will approve an airport from card. I will not impose ridiculous size constraints, which end up with sort of, if you look on the MRT, where
Yeah.
sort of their city, their builder, I don't know what you call them, the ranks, sort of limit the size of their airports, which lead to rather strange contraptions. So there will not be any unreasonable restrictions from card, but I will sort of encourage people to look at the claims around them and sort of collaborate on that. I think Newgate.
I would
I don't know
say
if you can
I would
confirm
say
that.
like
Yeah,
Alright, I would say that like just to bump into that, I just want to mention that I would say that maybe our end goal is not really about the size of the airport, but rather how cohesive and how good of a project can be delivered out of that approval itself, I would say. So if three of you want to build a nice big fancy airport, but it's a very good airport and it's realistic enough or it makes sense, then yeah, why not, right? I don't think we should be restricting the size just because of that, but just give us a heads up that you'll be using this amount of space and then we can say, yeah, sure, go ahead. Yeah, you're saying mine, Matthew.
no, I was about to say the same thing basically. That look, if you want to build an airport, look around you at the other claims and ask if they'd like to cooperate. Because then if you're, I'd be more inclined to give approval to a larger airport if it covers or it claims to cover several cities.
Yep. Ideally, it would be quite cool actually. It would be like a nice big metropolitan area there with multiple cities sharing an airport, just like, in real life. And I don't know, you guys can like come up with some fancy contraptions with like airport railings and things like that. Hmm. Oh yeah, if you want to build an airship base, why not? Hmm.
I mean, Lucas, if you're sharing an airport with Barcester, it would probably be that size. I mean, the entire southwest.
Yeah.
I mean, this kind of goes back to what we said earlier about encouraging claims to uh, sort of not be at a social distancing distance between one another. I guess collaboration comes quite naturally. Like
Mm-hmm.
forcing collaboration is not great, but now as claims expand, we're seeing sort of once the borders of claims are starting to touch one another, we're starting to see sort of natural boundaries form and claims getting closer together, maximizing the use of land. I'm thinking of New Incopolis and Courtsy's claim up north, things like that.
Yeah. Especially I think like the New Incopolis and like Corningsbourne, this could be a very nice cluster in itself. Then there's also Courtsy's claim also, Nabrit's, and then Perfect's claim. So I think this is like a very big region itself. Maybe Corningsbourne and New Incopolis could share an airport around here. Or then maybe Sakurayama could also connect up to it and uh I don't know how to pronounce this, but yeah, this could connect up to it as well. I would say maybe if you really want to make it super democratic, let's just say each person gets to have one terminal in the airport. So each claim has one terminal representing it, I guess. I think that is
if
the main conversation
if
that
you
we're
have ideas
having
for
now.
airports, I mean, always feel free to put it in city build so everyone can have a look at the plans and sort of decide to
Yep.
join up and if they want to participate in your airport, things like that. Uh, yeah, I'm just looking back at the January town hall to see if there's anything that we could follow up from that. Um,
That's-
I guess something that's kind of been in holding for a long, long time is the architect slash engineer audit.
Yeah.
I think was it in suggestions that MindBuilder suggested maybe getting someone not from staff or perhaps getting several players who are not staff into the what we call the public service to sort of start looking at that to maybe give it some fresh eyes.
That sounds like a good idea. But I think like if we do this kind of thing, we would have to unfortunately establish a very clear framework and have the decisions made be as transparent as possible. I think especially with the previous architect committee when we reviewed architect applications, I think some people are saying that the process wasn't very transparent, it wasn't very fair, which is why we stopped the whole architect committee in the end in the first place. So I guess in the sense this would be an architect committee version 2, but it would have to follow a very like rigid set of, not really rigid, but I would say a very clearly defined framework that allows the decision making process to be as fair as possible.
I mean, I'd even argue that is there a point in separating the builder and architect ranked? I mean, apart from a few perks, there's not much difference and a few extra
I would
permissions
say
with
is
regards to world edit. It's more of a, I mean, if we, I guess looking at the what we sort of looked at in January about architects and engineers acting as key planners in Fifth Haven, it's going to be more of a sort of Fifth Haven oriented rank rather than Calidia or
yeah,
whatever you built in Gardelia.
yeah. I think that it should be the idea because also like architect and engineer is also mainly for what are the people who are like what would you say it contributed to public projects in Caledia and Gardelia itself. So I think ultimately I think the architect rank it is more of like recognition for people who put in effort and contribute towards public public related like public related projects rather than just within their own builds itself.
I mean, I think the problem with people have with an audit is that of losing the rank is just the prestige because I mean we could explain it
Yeah,
quite clearly. There's not much difference between builder and architect. Oh, Luker's typing. I'm scared. um, but yeah, I guess if we sort of frame the conversation like that, that you're not actually losing that much. Uh,
yeah.
you like it because of your world edit limit. Yeah, that's the difference. That's one of like the two differences apart from the number of warps you have. The world edit limit. That's the two things.
I guess we could work something out in the end. We can easily work something out, especially if it's like edit limits and things like that. It should be easy to work out.
I guess just rolling everyone back into builder and then just looking through which players sort of have contributed enough to warrant the sort of prestige rank.
Although I think maybe you should ask who wants to take up that responsibility of the architect. Because I think overall, I think the main big idea is that also architects should also be mentors towards new builders. They should be giving relevant and good feedback, so like help uplift everyone else as well. That would be the ideal situation that we have here.
I mean, I guess there's also the question of how far back do we sort of accept contributions? Like, if
I think we
someone
can accept all time contributions. I guess. Yeah,
because
I think it's only right.
I guess it's just a bit like staff. I guess like if
Mm,
like once if you're no longer like a staff member, you don't really get to keep that honorary rank. Like if you last contributed to like Gardelia highway infrastructure like 5 or probably more than 5 years ago, should you stick to that rank?
right. Yeah, so I think there is a big question of like what can count as a contribution. I think we kind of like already established that earlier on at the start. So the only thing that will count as a contribution to the architect or engineer rank is that whether you have built something that is for public use. So that is either like in Fifth Haven itself, or it is Kalidia infrastructure that is like on the national level. So for instance, if you build a highway in Kalidia, that will count as a contribution. If you were to build a railway network in Kalidia that connects a lot of claims together, such that it is like, it functions as a very like key corridor and things like it, that will count as a contribution, I would say. Yeah.
I guess you should think of it as lead architects in sort of public projects, or counting Fifth Haven as a public project as a whole. Because
Yeah.
Luca is arguing that building in Kalidia is also contribution. New players visit Kalidia too.
But I would say that mainly the main big contributions in Lydia it is more of the infrastructure than for the and if you want to talk about like buildings and things like that could probably go into the central city of Lydia itself. But like beyond that, fortunately it is mainly
I think, yeah,
behave.
interclaim infra. I think that was what was always argued by sort of public infrastructure.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. So public infrastructure is the interclaim infra in the sense that it is like if it is on a national scale, so it's like stretching from one end all the way to the other, like the CN1, 2, and 3 network so far.
And if we sort of smooth out the differences between like the two different perks, I mean, is there any reason why we
Yeah.
don't give?
Sometimes I'm thinking of just like merging both of them together to like an Archineer rank instead.
I mean, even with regards to builder and architect, like there might be some reservations for people getting downgraded. So, is there any like, would there be any issues with increasing the number of warps for builders, for example, or the world edit limit,
Oh, we can
things
just
like that?
increase it, no worries.
Yeah,
I think overall we can smoothen out the perks as well. Make sure we'll make it so that the perks are not as like big of a difference actually.
I guess Lucas is an interesting point. Like, what if you put engineer and architect as a sort of secondary role, like how we have donor or whatever it's called now, supporter, as a a letter, and then the actual rank, things like that.
Plausible, but yeah, it is plausible, but I think that was like the original plan and like moving towards more like creative focus. So that's why we made it the primary rank in the end.
I mean, it's kind of like
Research. Yeah, if it is a good research breakthrough that can be implemented, yeah, why not? Or if it's like something good that can clarify quite a lot or like provides insight, although it's not successful, I think it is good enough as a contribution, in my opinion. Then again, all of this has to we had to figure out a framework for the decision behind all of this as well. If there is no clear framework, there's no clear set of general rules that we have for all of this, then people are always going to question the fairness of the system in the end.
I mean, honestly, I think like following Lucas's idea, we can just have it as a secondary rank between like donor or whatever, public servant or whatever, and
I
have
think can
everyone.
still keep as a primary rank. It's just that maybe we don't have the perks as big of a difference in the end.
I don't know. I guess so. Because
Yeah. I mean, if they don't really, if what people don't really care about is the name or the title in the end, then sure, why not? We just you just even out the perks and then let everyone be on their merry way. But I like how everyone has like basically entered everything in the chat also, so like, I can just like summarize all of this.
I guess
Yeah,
so. We could get a fresh set of eyes. I mean, we could just have a in feedback and suggestions. We could talk about it. I guess.
yeah, there we go. We can start a new thread about it.
So I guess we could break down a few questions for everyone here to start thinking. I guess should
Yeah.
should perks for builders and architects be the same? I guess that could be question one. Uh, question two. What should be the criteria? I think we're pretty clear on that, but I guess we could put it down anyway. What should be the criteria for promotion to architect from builder? And question three: should any existing architects be sort of demoted to builder? Should an audit of existing architects be done? I guess three questions. See ya, Exton.
Oh right. Uh, Highlighting the highways. We should do that too. Yeah, but I would like to do that, but we don't really have that big of a highway network at the moment. But yes, we can definitely explore that as well.
We also need to trace
Once like,
the Fifth Haven metro. That'd be great.
oh
Could
dear
work on
God.
that.
Tracing on like line map isn't really the easiest, I would say. I think like last time Axton did some work on it, but I think he just left the chat. But yeah,
I
we
think
could look
Vince
into it.
Vince did a bit of it for Gardelia.
Yeah,
I mean, even Gardelia's not done. That's how much of a pain it is.
yeah, that's why.
I guess I could.
If that's the case, then I guess I'll leave you guys at that. So I think I'll just take all of these points into consideration. Then I'll come up with a rough summary and like what we can do next
Oh,
based on the discussion that we all have today.
we also talked
Yeah,
about merging PR and citizen last time.
yeah. So of one thing about that, I think we have to do a proper backup before we go about that process in case we break things. But yeah, ideally, we also have to do a bit of like we may have to come up with a quick rough plan on that as well because like uh some things may break, especially if you're removing the rank. So ideally, we should have something nice to like figure out what to do instead. Yeah.
I mean, in the meantime, everyone could just be promoted automatically to citizen
Oh
when they
yeah, we could
apply.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, why not? Absolutely.
because I mean, even though PR has been quite good to see who sort of returns to the community, but I mean, apart from that, there's no real use.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it only served. I think the main benefit of it was the check-in when they fill in the feedback form and they request for the citizen rank in the end.
Oh, I was thinking actually totally different to what we're talking about. I was thinking of reading. Wem is here actually. That's good. I was thinking of restarting the census.
That will be on Wem.
I mean,
Wem is the big dude who did all of it.
if you no, okay. I don't mind
Yeah, I
taking it
think it's
over.
kind of big.
If you could teach me some steps or like your process last time, I don't mind taking it over. But it was I did find I always
I think
enjoy
the
reading the
uh,
census, but
I think the reason why the census was put was that the number of responses also kind of like decreased. Yeah, exactly.
that's true. But I do think that the right questions need to be asked to get good answers. If it was
What
interactive.
do you mean by interactive? Like random people going out and asking.
I mean, I guess maybe like a real census in real life where you actually turn up to people's door.
Oh,
or not like that, but you could do one-on-one interviews.
yeah, I guess one-on-one interviews would be good
That makes sense,
rather
though. I
than
mean, our sort of popular server population is low enough to enable that.
mm-hmm.
Yes,
I think it's
WolvHaven
just that we
Gathering.
all. I think it's just that uh like the activity on the server is so seasonal now that it's like doesn't really make a very big sense of it. Like usually the activity like comes back in December when it's the holiday season. Then after all it tapers off and it just like stays very quiet for the rest of the year. Yeah, June or December is like when like the main holiday period is.
Ah, server promotion. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, Lucas, I think things as basic as people doing. Do people watch Let's Builds? I have no idea, but people filming what they build or posting photos or whatever on social media, if you have that and you don't mind, helps a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
And
know
it
if I
can't
can.
really just us doing all of the promotional material itself.
I mean, yeah, players can promote. Let
Uh,
me just bring up the. We do, just for your information, we do a little sort of. When people get PR now, we just ask a quick question: how did you find the server? YouTube is like 50% of it. So if you have a computer that enables you to film and you don't mind sort of building, you don't need to talk. I mean, you could if you have the replay
yeah, you don't
mode.
even need to build, you just need to take a ride on the metro or something like that. That would be good enough.
But then we're attracting the wrong people, I guess. I mean, not
Good
the wrong
enough,
people,
good
but we
enough.
do not really showing the fact that it's a creative building server now, not a metro riding server.
I mean, that's how everyone joins in the first place. And I mean, I don't mind if we attract people who are like interested in like that kind of like just the trains and things like it. Then some of them, a small portion of them stay. I think at least it's a small portion of them that stay in the end, rather than like yeah.
I mean, like Lucas, I don't know
If that is our strength, then I guess we could work on it. We can leverage it at least.
but I mean, like Lucas, you have a nice big city, and you have your sort of architectural style, which I don't know might suit a YouTube video, a YouTube series, I guess. I don't know if you want to do a let's build or film it and with a replay mod, and do time lapses, things like
Yeah,
that.
that would be very helpful. Or if you want, you could like send. Or if you don't really want to post the video on your own channel, you can always send it over to us, and we can help you upload it. Yeah.
I'm available if anyone needs help on the sort of editing side, in case anyone wants to do that but doesn't exactly know how to sort of get the finished product up. I mean, Ufi, I
I guess we
guess
could.
send screenshots to us and we can post it on our official accounts.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, Quicks, you
I need
post
to figure
more
out because I have a my personal opinion is that my main issue with promotion is that I have a very big perfection syndrome. So videos that get posted on the WolfHaven YouTube have to pass a certain like standard. If it's like gonna be like some like 10 FPS video, I don't think I'll be posting it. That's the thing. Or usually it has to be something substantial enough that I'll post it. There are some backlog of videos already, but it's rather like the server is not in a state where you are ready to accept people, if you get what I mean. Like the spawn isn't really ready yet. Then we have all of these these loose ends that we need to tie up at the moment, which I think we are making very good progress in tying up at the moment. But
I think also a thing with promotion is that when we had Josh running the YouTube channel, he was very dead set about the YouTube algorithm. He was like, we can't post now or we have to
yeah,
post now because that's how it works.
yeah. I think it was more like Like when he wanted to do the schedule of it, like being 2 videos every month, I think that was a bit too unrealistic. Like yeah, sure it was sustained for a short while, but I think it was just really unsustainable in the long run, sadly. So ideally, something that would be more interesting and fun is if you were to have somebody like narrate and like give tours of the city itself. That would
I,
be fun.
I mean, I don't know about this idea. I just came up with it like 2 seconds ago. We have the official WolvHaven channel where we have all the official videos, and then we can have a WolvHaven sort of community channel, something like that, where we don't set the same standards.
I
Uh,
guess so that could work as
and
well.
then because everyone here seems to be very reluctant to, or they have a private account or whatever, they wouldn't have their own YouTube channel and things like that. We can upload it on that everyone's videos on that WolvHaven community channel, things like that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Like I wouldn't mind, I don't know, doing tour like the I was thinking of doing sort of city showcases on Newsnet, but if it's up to that standard, it's a lot of work. But I absolutely wouldn't mind just walking around touring cities and just chatting to the claim owner on voice chat and uploading it like that with
Yeah,
minimal editing.
I think even that, I think that alone is very good. It's just like, well, if we were to do editing, it just has to be a bit of a. You just have to cut it here and there and make sure it's like entertaining enough. Like cut out all the um random parts, I guess. Yeah,
I guess I should
but
make a note of that in this chat. WolvHaven community channel.
yeah, drives on national highways that would be great as well. I think the WolvHaven expressways could use a new
Imperial says
live
it's not fun.
video.
You'd be surprised how many views it gets.
Yeah, surprisingly, the highway videos did very well on the channel for some reason. I'm not too sure why.
I mean, in general, Minecraft highway
I
drive videos
will
do
generally I don't.
excellently.
Yeah,
People see road and they click. People see train and they click.
yeah. So I think that is something that we can work on as well.
But I guess yeah. Uh, if people do let's builds, that'd be great. That too. We have great architects on this server.
I think like the main issue with Gardelia also now is that the red line has been severed off for like God knows how long already. And that is the
Yes.
reason why I asked Josh to like just move his whole city over into like Kalidia instead. So I think this was a major mistake on my end, like letting it go on instead of like just cutting it off when it was at the start.
Oh, related to sort of that. There's still a lot of misconceptions about our server and how it's confusing and how it needs 356 applications to get anything done. So I
I
think
think if people want to, some of these misconceptions are spread by other people. So if people spread this kind of things, then there's not much we can do about it.
I mean we could do
I would say.
promotional sort of how simple
Yeah,
it
you
is, things
could,
like
but
that.
if people don't see the promotional content, then they're still gonna spread the same thing in the end anyway. Or if they don't want to change their beliefs, which I'm very sure some of them are more than unwilling to change their beliefs, then you can't really control that in the end. So there's only I think I will argue there's only some level of like impact we can make with trying to change people's perception. All right, the people already have like not so positive perception, but I guess we could. I would say instead of like working on changing the old perceptions, rather try and make new impressions.
Yeah, we could. I mean, don't propose your own. You could propose your video ideas, but make the videos. That helps as well.
Yeah, correct. I mean, there's no point in saying like, oh, you should do this video, should do that video, but then like in the production of the video itself needs time and effort, and also some people's computers are unfortunately not very well geared to record.
I mean, Imperial, what would interest me is how you and Planck use math in building things like that. Everyone has their
Yeah.
own specialty. And what we could do, yeah, in feedback suggestions or in its own channel, we could have a sort of what is it called, technical help or whatever, or just a creators exchange of ideas
Yeah.
and technical support to help out.
I think you could also somehow do like the plugin tutorial videos as well, especially for plugins that you use myself. So, for example, the list reloaded one and the whatnot. Maybe instead of having a very low end video where it was like there's people where it's just like a bunch of like slides or something like it, maybe you could do something more substantial in the end.
Yeah. Ah, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
The
cool.
image frame one. Yeah, I see.
Yeah. I think the one perfect did for the platform doors was great.
How many views did that get? Has that gotten a substantial amount? I have no idea actually.
I don't think it's been very substantial because like we haven't been uploading a lot since. I think we only got like probably
1.6k in
yeah,
9 months, which is, and your initial video, the infamous platform screen doors tutorial from 2012, has 5.8k. So not bad.
yeah, I guess so.
You promised an update on that initial video. We never got it, by the way. Very disappointed still.
Hey, we shall not talk about that video.
That is a niche, though. That is one of our servers'
It
great
is a
niche.
very new, yeah.
But a lot of servers, like, I mean, a lot of servers now, in our general sort of similar theme, probably make use of that video.
Probably.
WolvHaven TikToks.
Oh
Oh,
God, I'm not gonna. I'm
I
not
mean,
gonna go through so much effort to run a TikTok account. I'm so sorry.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, it would definitely help the server out, but like, oh my God, the amount of effort just to do a
if someone
TikTok
wants to
account,
do it,
crazy.
why not?
Yeah,
The
if you want
videos
to do
could.
it, feel free to.
I mean, the videos could go into
Feel
YouTube
free
Shorts
to.
and stuff as well. That's like 3 in 1 or 2 in 1.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to, go ahead. Go ahead by all means,
Oh, you don't like TikTok? That's a shame. Oh yeah, IG Reels as well. Yeah. I mean,
IG Reels. Oh
didn't
God.
Josh started doing that with the shorts? I don't know if they made it onto Instagram, but he definitely made some YouTube
It was
shorts.
mainly on shorts, yeah. But it was very like high production value. That's the issue. Like none of us can reach that production value anymore. So we would probably have to lower the bar, but like not lower it too much, where to the point where it looks like oh recorded with like bendy cam or something like it.
I mean, are TikTok productions that high tech? I feel like a lot of the time it's just
So
someone
nowadays a
chatting.
lot of people put in quite a lot
Really?
of
Wow.
work.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
The crazy ones really do go all the way.
what are the typical editing software y'all use for the videos? I use Premiere Pro.
You can use CapCut. I think it's a good free alternative. CapCut is by TikTok, but you can use it to edit other kinds of video. I think it's simple enough to get.
I mean, the bottom line is I think we had this very conversation last town hall, but the thing is, no one actually filmed anything. So if
Yeah.
people could film things this time, and I don't know, even if you don't have to edit it, just film and get it to me, I guess, something like that. I can work with you on with whatever footage you've got, but I can't work with no footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very expensive, but what makes you think I paid?
Pirating Adobe software is ethical. I'm just kidding. Why am I kidding?
Yeah, but there's lots of free alternatives, by the way, Ufi. So yeah,
Yeah,
don't worry.
yeah, already have this Premiere.
I mean, if we could get some immediate action to sort of build off this momentum and just create a channel on Discord and we can chat about it, that would be great.
You mean create a thread on this?
A thread or a channel of its own, I guess, or a forum post, I guess. I have no idea what.
Actually, I was thinking of creating a new like forum channel instead. Call it like the community square or something like it.
And we can work
There's
on
like
that,
any topics off the top of mind can like literally just go there instead.
and then we can make the community YouTube channel, provided we actually get some content.
Yeah.
I would definitely film something, so if it didn't require the editing for Newsnet, which this won't, so I will definitely do something. Ah, the famous watermark and free software, I'd forgotten that.
Hmm. Yep. If that's all, yes, we can close off the town hall from here. Although it's like a much, it's a more modest size, but I think it's great that everyone has contributed and like gave their ideas so far.
Do we have an idea for when the next one would be?
September, January, March, April, May, June, July, August, September.
I mean, just in general,
Yes.
checking in with the community is quite nice.
Probably maybe we could check in again in November or December. Maybe December.
Because it is quite nice hearing from everyone. Quite
Yeah.
a
I
rarity
think most people
nowadays.
will be paying more free.
See
Alright,
you, Ufi.
then thank you all for attending and I'll see you guys next time. So yeah, bye bye.
Bye.